Former detainees at Alligator Alcatraz sharing what they went through behind the gates of this immigration detention facility in the Everglades. Their lawyers say their constitutional rights were violated.
Today, we're entering the second day of these federal hearings, Channing, and our Gulf Coast News reporter, Kendall Brandt, she's been on top of this from the beginning. She's live outside right now at the federal courthouse in Fort Myers. Kendall, tell us what these detainees are saying.
Well, yesterday we heard from two detainees that say they could not get access to an easy call with attorneys. They say they even had to write down the phone numbers of attorneys in soap on their headboard and wall because they did not have access to a pen and paper. They say they got those phone numbers from their family and were not able to directly contact them inside the facility. But today we heard from folks that the state called as witnesses. They're the defendants in this case. Specifically, we heard from a witness who is with the state emergency response team who oversees Alligator Alcatraz. He says that currently there are 1,500 detainees inside and there's a capacity of 2,000. He says initially when the facility was opened, it was not intended to be a space where detainees would meet with legal counsel. It was intended to be a space that he called, quote, a deportation depot where people would be sent out within 72 hours of being received into the facility after going through court proceedings. Now, he says that that situation has been fluid and the purpose of the facility has since changed. He says just before Thanksgiving, a new policy was enacted to allow detainees to have access to cell phones for private confidential calls inside that facility. Currently, there are 3 phones inside the housing facility, but those are on a recorded line. The new policy, he says, also allows for attorneys to show up to the facility for same-day visits without an appointment. Meanwhile, ACLU attorneys say they don't think that any of that evidence that was presented in court is quite adequate, as the state acknowledges that those policies are not currently written down and have just been given verbally to staff at Alligator Alcatraz.
What we are asking for is an order from the court to make sure that immigrants who are being held at Alligator Alcatraz have the opportunity to speak confidentially and timely with legal counsel. So as they are fighting their deportation cases, they can actually have the assistance of an attorney.
Again, witnesses for the state did acknowledge that the new policy that does allow detainees to use cell phones that are confidential and to have attorneys meet them same day at Alligator Alcatraz without an appointment is not written down on a policy nor on posters inside the facility for detainees to see. Now, the ACLU says that that lack of actual written policy begs the question as to if it even exists. But now a judge will go over all of the testimony given over these last 2 days and think about the oral arguments that both the defendant as well as the attorneys with ACLU gave today. We asked attorneys with the state of Florida, or rather representing the state of Florida, if they would have interest in speaking with us for an interview. They declined to comment and referred us to the governor's office. Live here in Fort Myers, Kendall Brandt, Gulf Coast News.